Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to do a quick video this morning. I know I told you last week I wasn't feeling real good. I was sick all weekend. Feeling a lot better today. It might not sound like it, but if you would have heard me the last 2 days. But anyway, Friday we closed that gap that I talked about last week, right in this range right here. We had a small gap between here and here, and now we officially closed that. The gap's not officially closed until we close below or above it. Just coming down, breaching it, and popping back up is not a closure. It's not an official closure. So this one here is officially closed now. So this gap here no longer holds any value. But we do have another one. Right here from the low of this candle at 278.85 to the high of this candle at 278.62. Excuse me. So we only have a 23-cent gap here, which is excellent for people that like to play these. There's going to be a little support area right in here. We may see the same thing we saw here on what was this, Wednesday, or Thursday? Must have been Thursday. No, actually this would have been Friday, so this would have been Wednesday. On Wednesday we came down and we just touched that and we got a big bounce up. So you may see that again today. Right now we're trading right around, what's the price range right now? Right around 279.10. So right now we're trading at 279.10. So we're flirting with this bottom, the bottom of this candle right now. If we may come down like we did Wednesday here, we may come down and just touch this, either one of these levels, just touch it and bounce higher. If we do drop below this second one, there's not much to keep us from coming all the way back here to the 275.20s. There's not much support here. You see we have another gap right here, and we also have the 200 simple moving average line right here, 200 daily. So there should be quite a bit of support at this level. I don't see a whole lot in between here. I mean, we can zoom out a little bit and see if there's anything further back, but anything throughout this candle, there's not much there. So don't be surprised at all if we come down below this 278.60, that we pull back, maybe not all in one day, but we come back to the 275.30s, 275.20s even. Just be careful if you're in calls. You know, if it comes down to here and it starts to bounce and you jump in calls and we start to lose this, I'd be really careful. Make sure you keep your stops and don't walk away from your computer, because I could definitely see from this level here, I could definitely see a $2 pullback to here. Like I said, it might not happen all in one day, but a lot of that's going to depend on news also. I'm not sure what news events we have coming out today. I haven't checked that yet. Still in the process of getting everything set up here for this morning. But that's something I'd watch. I'd be really careful of. You see that we played with this gap here for how many days? 1 day, 2 days. We tested it for 2 days. And that gap was at the 280.30s to 280.08s. Let's take a look at Friday's chart, and I didn't even turn the computer on Friday, so I don't know what happened. But let's see if we had support in that range. The 278.30 to 278.08. 278.30s. I'm sorry, 280.30s, 280.08. So 280.30s was down here. Yeah, you can see here 280.30. There was a lot of congestion right in this area. Some sideways consolidation, and that's right in that range. Right about here was the bottom of that gap. 280.08 was the bottom of that gap, and 280.31 was the top of that gap. I think it was 31, maybe 32. But you see right in here, that's where we had a lot of activity from 11:45 to 14:05 to 2:05. So over, what, 2.5 hours that we played around in this area because nobody knew what to do. You see, every time we pulled down a little bit lower, and this close doesn't, this isn't, you can't look at this because this is Friday's close, which is over here. And at the time, we didn't know what the close would be at this time. So this is here because I put it there this morning. So don't look at this. Don't look at this and think we bounced off of this that day, because this wasn't here that day. But yeah, you see we had a lot of sideways consolidation here. Let's say at 280.08, the close of this candle, you decided to go puts. And yeah, you could have got it, if you would have played a closer expiration, you could have got a nice win there. But if you would have played something 2 weeks out, you would have maybe, I don't know, you might have only been looking at 5% here and not taking that 5%. And I'm not saying 5% is not good. 5% win, I'd take those every trade if I could. But if you happen to not get out because you don't know that that's going to be your best option, if you don't get out at that 5%, now you're at 2%, and you say, okay, let me wait till it gets back to 5%, and you don't do that, and you stop out for a little loss. So it makes it a little bit harder to trade in these tight ranges like this. So if you would have got in here, there's a good chance you would have probably stopped out of it. At a minimum, you might still be in it, or you might have held to here, got a little bit more. But if you played close enough expirations, your time decay would have started to take effect, and I'm pretty sure you'd have been stopped out at least by here. So I would doubt, unless you played further out expirations, you're probably not still in it. So if you jumped in when you lost this 280.08, I'm going to guess you probably didn't make money, and if you did, it was very little. Most people that traded it, probably lost money or broke even at best. So yeah, you got to watch. You don't want to just jump in as soon as you lose that bottom, because losing it, breaking through it isn't the same as closing it. So you see back here, 280.08. Yeah. So yeah, just watch those gaps. They can be tricky to play, but they can, like I said, they can hold some nice trades. You see our stochastics are coming down still. We had a lot of volume Friday on that sell-off. Huge red candle. That's not a bearish engulfing candle. That's not really any type of official candle. It's just big and ugly. I think Steve Nissen has a name for this candle. And it's something like at the belly. I don't remember it. I'd have to go back and look through his books, but to him it's a weak bearish signal. It's not as good as a bearish engulfing, but either way, it's a big ugly candle. That's what I'm going to call it. We opened almost at the high and closed almost at the low. I think we closed at 79.25. The low is 79.18, so we closed almost at the low. Like I said, we're already flirting, getting close to this gap here. News events today, there's nothing till 2 o'clock that I can see. The Evans speech, yeah, Actually, I think that shows 2 o'clock. I'm looking at Seeking Alpha, which is where I usually get a lot of my news as far as the reports that are coming out. I'm thinking that means 2 o'clock a.m. because we're showing 8:30 Chicago Fed National Activity Index, and at 10:30 Dallas Fed Manufacturing Survey. It doesn't say if that's AM or PM, but the first one that shows up is 2 o'clock. So that's either 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. or 8:30 or 10:30 a.m. I don't know why they'd be releasing a speech at 2 a.m. So if that's the case, if it's 2 p.m. for the Evans speech, then we really have no news coming out today during market hours, which is a good thing. It could be good or bad, but I don't like news getting in the way of my trading, so I'd rather not have news. I'm looking for more red today. We may not close below this gap, but I think we come down below it. Not saying we won't pop back above it before the end of the day, but yeah, I think we're going to play around with this level today, right in this gap fill area here. We're at least going to come down to here, in my opinion. We've already broke this pre-market. I wouldn't be surprised at the open. Maybe get a small little pop to the upside and come right back down and test these areas. Now we may hit these areas, we may test these areas and bounce right back up and close green for the day. I don't know, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we come down and test that 275 area. So that's it for this morning. I might make another video later. We'll see how today goes. If there's anything that looks worthwhile pointing out, I can make another video, or something I'm seeing for tomorrow. Feeling a little bit better, so hopefully I can get back on track here. I didn't do any trading Thursday or Friday. I had a green week last week, so not complaining. I just wish I would have felt better later on in the week. But anyway, good luck trading today, and keep that in mind about that gap and about those levels I spoke about. If we do bounce to the upside today, which I'd be surprised if we do bounce higher. I'd be surprised if it goes much higher. But I'd say this 280-20 area is going to be some resistance, just because, not necessarily because of this gap. I mean, it is because of this gap, but it's not the gap that's causing it. It's all these levels that it held. We held it here, we held it here, we held it here. So we have 3 levels, 3 different instances of testing this level, so that's going to be some resistance. So if we do bounce, I think 280.30 is going to be a little bit of resistance level. Not huge, but a little bit. Even this big green candle from Friday, we weren't far off that 280.30. So above that, we're probably looking at a little bit of resistance around a 282 level. And aside from that, I don't think, unless we get news, I don't see us going this high. But if we do, I think we'll see a little bit of resistance here from Friday's high, and then back up to here. But I don't see us getting up there. If we do end up reversing course today and going higher, I think 280.30 is about the highest we'll see. So anyway, that's it for this morning, and good trading, and talk to you later. Thanks.